Welcome to the Joe Pavich podcast. This show is all about what got people where they are today. Work-life mix, struggles, the grind, the process, and the message. Welcome to the Joe Show. Wow. Today I got my guest, Shawn French. Shawn, man, great to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, heck yeah, man.
Shawn French, Determined Society. Shawn has over 1.2 million downloads last year, which is insane. I think I have about 5 or 6, my wife and kids.
Well, I had a couple.
You downloaded
I
a couple as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this guy is amazing. You know, I was on your show, Shawn. I had 3,000 likes before I even had my first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing what you've done. Determined Society. It's all about mindset, goals, the grind, life, work-life mix, kids, the push, man.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled to have you here, man.
Dude, I'm
Thank you.
jacked. No, thank you for having me. And like you said, you were on my show, and I'm going to tell you, man, the feedback, and I told you right away, the feedback of having you on was amazing. The thing that I really enjoyed most about having you on outside of the actual conversation and our friendship building was the fact that everybody that listened to it that knew you had something very positive to say about you.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
you undershot it a little bit, I have to tell you. My boy, Peter Jensen, reached out to me and said, how did you like the conversation with Joe Pavich? I go, oh my God, I love the guy. He goes, dude, he's a killer. I'm like, no, he's great. He goes, no, he's literally a martial arts assassin.
Nice.
Like, that's really cool because
that's something that no one really knows about.
Dude,
JP.
like, hey, everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
Like, JPJ does not mess around. Like,
back in the day when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah, dude.
That's an old rap
song.
jam right there.
What was it? That was Wanna Be a Baller, right?
Yeah.
Lil Troy? Is it Lil Troy?
I think, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
We'll have to archive that. I
But
don't know.
man, Shawn, usually you're in this seat.
I know,
you're
man.
a guest. Man, thank you.
I'm
I
honored.
appreciate you.
I'm honored,
And you
man.
look phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
You look like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Lionheart right now.
Wow.
Man, you look lean, buddy.
Wow, dude. Like, it's been a journey, man.
Through the holidays.
Through the holidays. I lost 15 pounds through the holidays. And in fact, from Christmas to New Year's Eve, I didn't gain an ounce.
Wow.
But look, and I've been very open with this on my show, and I've spoke to you about it. I think even in our show, like, I was having a really hard time getting back in shape because I just wasn't making that true decision to really work at it and be committed to it. I wanted to look better, I wanted to feel better, but I wasn't willing to do the things that I needed to do. And one day I ran into a mutual friend of ours, Jeff Delaney, at John Huffman's event, which I think is another mutual friend. Small circle, right? We're all very close. And I said to him, I was like, I need your help. He's like, well, dude, why don't you come back to our clinic for, the TRT at T clinics?
Sure.
I'm like, that's part of it, man, but I'm just so fat. And I was like, I just can't get out of my way.
Yeah, it's tough. You get to a point where you're kind of beyond where you really want to be.
Yeah,
right?
but what's crazy is, like, I talked about it a lot on my show, but when I saw him, now I don't think I've told him this yet, I was embarrassed. Like, I couldn't really look him in the eye because I just felt so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's fine. I'll come back and do that. I go, but, I'm really interested in Nuviva, your weight loss clinic.
Sure.
So he's like, well, let's get started right after Thanksgiving. So we go in there, right? And, we do the DEXA scan. And I'm going to say this for the first time publicly. A DEXA scan is literally down to the decimal point of your fat.
Wow.
Your body fat, your body composition. I was at 30.6% body fat. Crushed me. But I also said, well, okay, how do we spin this, right? Like, okay, 30% of me is fat, 70% of me is not.
That's
right?
Yeah, that's right.
70% of me is not.
Yeah.
And now this is just a baseline. This is a data point. And so, he puts me on phase 1. That week, I think 7.5 pounds gone. The next week, put me on a different phase, 7.5 pounds gone. And now, last week, he told me, he's like, hey, you need to do this 72-hour water fast. So I'm on day 3 of that 72 hours right now. Black coffee, bone broth, water, and some essential amino acids, right?
Man.
So I'm hoping I go in there on Wednesday, and I'm hoping to be 207. Now there's another DEXA scan on Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'm praying for 20%.
Yeah.
That'd be
And you
massive.
almost don't even want to know because you could just look in the mirror, right? You look great. When I saw you even at 30-something% body fat, you didn't look like it. You look good.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Well,
man,
sometimes we wear bigger clothes.
Yeah.
Right? We try to
I had
hide.
to.
Yeah.
I was hiding it, man.
And now you got to wear skinny jeans.
I do.
Tighter
I do.
belts.
Tighter belts.
The problem when you lose weight is you got to go back in and buy all new stuff. Nothing else fits you, or you start to feel a little sloppy, right?
You know
Bigger
what's funny?
pants.
Like these jeans right here are starting to feel a little loose.
Yeah.
My wife's like, hey, no, you're going to wait another month or so.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But the thing that I'm going to do this time is I'm going to buy all those clothes and then I'm shit canning the other ones.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Throw them out, man.
throw them out.
Get rid of it.
Like, so you do that with your father.
I do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I told my dad, just throw it all out. He saves them.
Yeah.
I said, Dad, he saves them because he wants to show people. You know,
Yeah.
the Jared, remember
Yeah.
Jared for Subway?
Yeah.
The big pair of pants. But I said, Dad, just get rid of them.
Get rid of them because you
Buy all new stuff. Get them
burn
cut
the
tight.
boats.
And
Burn
then
the boats,
if
baby.
you gain 7 pounds, you can't fit in anything,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Forget
then you just
that.
lose it again.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's
No.
a way of life, Shawn.
Yeah,
and I can tell, man, you look great. You
Thank
feel
you.
great. It's not only does it help you the way you look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how you feel when you go out, but just mindset, positive, clear.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm so clear right now, man. And what I've noticed over the last 3 to 4 weeks is my speech pattern has improved again. My conversations are better now,
Yeah.
right? It's because I feel confident.
because you feel better.
Well, I feel like I'm in alignment, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, determined in one area and disciplined in building my show.
That's right.
And then a freaking fat, sloppy mess in my diet and binge eating at
Yeah.
8 p.m.
But tell you what,
That's
man,
really what it
do
was.
that through the holidays, though. That's tough.
Dude, that was wild.
That's tough.
Which-
because, I mean,
Yeah.
stuff going on. You get New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
New Year's Day, Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
Christmas, and all these events, people getting together. It's tough.
Well, to me, it was more of a shift, right?
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I can continue to do this and I can have all the fun during the holidays and I
Yeah.
can put another 5 to 10 pounds on. That's really usually what happens
Yeah.
on an average, right?
That's right.
So then I'm 235.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
Now I will tell you, we talked about before recording, from like the 27th to the 1st, I lived a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
I lived a little bit, but I didn't have like 5 meals of living. I would, have my breakfast, which would be the egg whites or whatever.
Sure.
And then I would go out to lunch with the family. And if I got a chimichanga, I would eat half of it because I was full.
You sure? I bet you were.
I was
'Cause your
full.
stomach shrinks.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I've been through it. I've gained weight. Working out, I try to put on weight
Yeah.
and I cut back, like bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Except I wasn't bodybuilding.
Yeah, it was
you
just-
put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle when you're younger, you're taking creatine, and then all of a sudden you lean down and then people say, hey, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Yeah, dude.
And you're like, what do you mean am I okay?
Yeah.
This is as lean as I've been.
Yeah.
I go to see my grandma. My grandma would say, honey, you need to eat. You look too skinny.
You're
I said,
Italian though,
"Grandma."
right?
I said, thin as in, Graham.
Yeah, thin as in,
Yeah.
Grammy.
But if you weren't heavy and you're Italian, you're not healthy. That's
Yeah,
the
I
way the
know.
Italians look at things.
Yeah, that's a little wild, right? And I just think, in America, we celebrate things differently,
Yeah, that's right.
Like we overdo it.
Oh, let's cook. Let's cook.
and that's fine if you're not emotionally controlled by it.
That's right.
And I was emotionally controlled by food.
Yeah.
Now it's like my daughter turned 6 yesterday, my youngest one, Mia.
Oh, man.
6 years old.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Big
Mia.
day.
Big
6.
day. Took cupcakes
Happy
in
birthday,
today
Mia.
for her class so they could
Wow.
celebrate. But they all did pizza
Yeah.
and then they did cake. Didn't faze me. And I just
You
hope
can look at it. Yeah.
I just
not,
hope
not touch
that
it.
I can continue on that path, right? Not saying I'm never going to eat it because I think that's unhealthy too.
Sure.
But just the control,
Yeah.
right? I don't want it to have that control over me anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just all about changing internally,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we talk about on my show is how can we change our external lives, but we have to dive in deep here first, right? Because if you don't change who you are as a person, then your results are not going to change.
That's right.
And so I knew in order for me to catapult to another level in 2025 as a husband, a father, and then a show host, I had to change, man.
Yeah. Love it,
I
man.
had to.
Speaking of the show, man, this is the first show in my new podcast.
Dude, this
studio.
is wild, man.
I'm so glad
I'm
to
honored.
have you
Dude,
here,
that's
man.
it's fitting.
The
I'm
goat.
so
You are
excited.
the goat of this world, man. I mean, the
Well-
determined society is. Man, I've seen you everywhere. We've known each other back in the day, and we haven't talked in many years. And that's the beauty about things. Sometimes you have an old friend you haven't talked to, and then you pick up the phone, and you're right back to
We're
where you
there.
were before.
Yeah, man.
But man,
Baseball's
the
a small
growth.
world.
I mean, every time I was looking through Instagram, hey, Shawn. Oh, that's my boy right there.
Yeah, man.
Shawn
it's crazy.
French.
It's crazy because when you don't know, right? So I don't know what comes up on somebody else's feed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like crickets and you just feel, or I felt like, all right, does Instagram hate me? It's not pumping me out. No
Yeah.
one's following.
Yeah,
But
you're
then
right.
what I realized is you know what? I just wasn't that interesting. It was a beginning, right? Like the show was in the den. I had some people that knew love, that loved what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, somebody in Michigan would be like, all right, I'm going to follow this guy and interact with him because it just wasn't interesting yet. But
it's such a grind. You know, you base it on how many people hit the like button.
Yeah, it's sad, dude.
And you said a good point to me. You said, Joe, don't pay attention to the likes. Pay attention to your impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to think about that because, you know, it's like you look at your follower base, you're like, man, I don't have that much going on. But I hear people tell me all the time, hey, man, I like what you're doing. I like the show. I love the podcast. I like the Instagram, the social media. So, you know, it's kind of cool because people think that this is a real estate-based show. Right, Shawn?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, you know, crown molding on the show.
We're not doing that.
Not at all.
We're not talking about beams or anything. Yeah, people. Yeah.
Because what part of my success in real estate is this right here.
Yeah.
Meet with a seller. You talk about common grounds. You're there for an hour and a half. You talk about the home for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Get to know each other and you develop that bond. But in the podcast world, it's kind of cool because, you know, it's like we sit down with each other, we talk, right? And we leave as like even better friends. It's like a bond. Dude. It's a weird bond, right? The people on your show, they leave your show and they've gone through something with you, especially if it's their first show.
Yeah, I think what we've created with the Determined Society with the help of my partner Pat Sitkins and what you're doing here, because I can already tell you're doing it here with this specific show, like me coming in, experiential. When you create an experience for your guest, and then that's going to create an experience for your audience, that's where you truly win, right? Yeah. And that's how we've become good friends. Yeah. That's how we've become tight. And that's why the people that come on the show, like we're able to kick it on the show. And then, you know, afterwards we're kicking it in life.
That's right.
You know, like the Gordy Gronkowski show that just posted today. That was the first time I met him. And it sounds like
thing. You've known each other for years, right?
But we had an amazing 20 minutes prior to the show where we made coffee together, we talked, we joked, and we had so many mutual friends, right? To a point where now it's like we're boys. And we speak pretty dang regularly now, you know?
That's great.
But yeah, man.
I've heard they're great guys. I mean,
they're funny.
I know the mom lives in Miramar.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We're going to, next time he comes back, I get to have a Mama Gronk meal.
And I think they're all big boys, right?
They're all huge. They're all huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They're big dudes. Man. Big dudes, man.
So, Shawn, tell me about Determined Society, the name. I love the name, by the way.
Oh, thank you,
I think it's a great name. When I saw the name, I said, man, I want to change my name. Determined.
Your show's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Your name is great. It's you, right?
And, but you know what's interesting when you the Joe, right?
The Joe
Pavich podcast. When you type in the Joe, you know, somebody else pops up first. But you know,
well,
I had to I happened to pick a name that
I'm assuming you mean Joe Rogan.
But if I go number
that's
two,
the GOAT.
Yeah.
That's who I'm chasing. I could just become a fraction of what that guy is.
That's right.
Then I'm making massive impact in the world.
Your growth has been crazy, though, man.
Thank you.
I sat down with you 2 weeks ago. We did a show.
Mm-hmm.
You had 76,000 followers. Now you have 116.
Yeah.
Last time I met you, I think I had, 200 followers. And now I'm up at 220.
You're lying.
I'm kidding.
You're
I'm
lying.
kidding. But I mean, that's a massive jump.
It's a big jump.
But the show's awesome, man.
Thank you.
I love it. So tell me how the name came about.
Oh, wow. So this is really cool. So years ago, probably 4 years ago, I was linked up with this direct selling company called Melaleuca. Okay. And my friend Rainbow from way back in the day linked me up with this social media influencer named Nicole. And I'm actually going to have her on the show coming up soon because I want her to tell the story because I want to know her perspective on it. But she goes, hey, you have an interesting dynamic. You and your wife have a playful relationship.
Yeah.
I think you could really build a personal brand and that way people trust you and then you're able to sell the store.
Yeah.
Because that's how it started.
That's what it's all about.
And I'm like, well, I don't really think people are going to give two rats asses about me.
About your story, right? Yeah.
I'm not that interesting. I'm just a father with, 3 kids and a wife. It's just, it's nothing. So, she goes, well, no, here's what I want you to do. I want you to post a picture of you, right? And it's after I just got done really working on myself. And I put the picture up on my stories. And the question she wanted me to ask was, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you see me? And of course, my friends now, they had douchebag.
Yeah, of
dork,
course. Yeah.
Like, you suck.
Yeah.
You're a loser. But most people would write leader, coach.
Wow.
And then it was determination.
Nice.
And so a vast majority, like literally a vast majority was all a form of the word determination. Wow. And so I reported back to her after 24 hours. I'm like, hey, these are the results. He's like, great. So that's your brand. that's how people see you, because people think branding is the sign, right? They think it's, Joe Pavich Real Estate or the Joe Pavich Podcast. That's not the brand. The brand is the human.
You're
what
right.
they signify, like what they put out and how people view them, right? And so she goes, that's how people view you. I'm like, well, neat. What in the heck do I do with this? Like determination. She goes, we're going to make a Facebook group. I'm like, called what? Determination? Like that makes zero sense. And she goes, Shawn, what do you want? And this is how I remember it, right? What do you want out of life? I was like, honestly, I want to wake up in a society where people wake up and chase their dreams, right? They are determined to win no matter how they feel, whether they want to, whether they don't, it doesn't matter. They just stick to the mission and go. She goes, that's it. Your Facebook group is called Determined Society.
Nice.
I go, I do not like that.
So great.
And she goes, it's missing something. She goes, what do you not like about it? I go, I like the 2 words. I go, how about the Determined Society? And so it started as a Facebook group. And I started doing these like weird selfies, like, hey, something big's coming. And do a countdown. Right. I'm like, first time I ever turned the camera around and shot a video of myself was after a run. And I'm sitting against, no joke, the garage when I filmed this. And I'm like, I hate everything about this. I was just like dissecting myself. People are going to think I'm an idiot. So I posted it. And then people were like, started going like, I'm excited. Let me know what's up. I'm like, will do. I got you. You need to join it. It's free. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But you're going to love it. And then when I posted that, when I finally launched it, it was like 2 weeks in between. And I posted the link to the Facebook group. Within 5 to 10 minutes, I had like 40 requests.
Nice.
I was like, wow. By the end of that day, I had like 90 people. I'm like, this is really cool. And what I did was I would get to the gym at 4:15 in the morning or 4:30, and I would go live on a Facebook group. Like, who the hell is going to watch a live, at 4 o'clock in the morning? But they would catch it when they'd wake up and they would watch it.
Yeah, because they see the full video.
And it started to inspire them a little bit. Then people started posting in it, and putting quotes and like, hey, I think you'll like this. And it started to grow. And then one day I'm driving down the road. I go, oh shit. Like my brain just exploded with possibility. I'm like smelling colors.
You're floating down the road.
Yeah. I'm like, exactly. It's just crazy. So I pull over and I call my wife. I'm like, this just hit me and I'm overwhelmed right now. I got to pull over. Tell me I'm an idiot. And she goes, oh, I think you do it. And I think you do it now.
Wow.
And so that's how it started. And so I called the show The Determined Society.
That's amazing.
That's it.
That's a great story.
Thank you.
It's amazing the impact though. Like when somebody's good at doing something like that and don't realize that they are, and they need feedback from people to say, hey, this guy's got it. I mean, we don't think we're leaders until we hear it, maybe a little bit here and there. And then you got to believe it. Hearing it's one thing, but then taking it to the next level. Like anybody out there that's done something, even like, let's come up with a name of a soda, Pepsi. Sounds stupid.
What is that?
Pepsi.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, Walmart, Costco.
Amazon.
Yeah. Terrible.
What is that?
However, they send them a couple logos and they go, this might turn into something. Now look at what it's become.
Yeah.
Your name, Determined Society, was a little logo that you got, right?
Yeah.
That's this big.
Yeah.
And now it's massive.
It's crazy, dude.
Massive.
And we just hope to keep expanding it, right?
Yeah.
Through impact. That's it.
If we had to put your sign in this room, it wouldn't even fit, Shawn. We'd have to blow the walls out. That's how big your name. That's how big your name is now.
Man, we're still growing, man. We're humble beginnings, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, everybody knows what you do now. I mean, they could find you anywhere online. However, let's go back.
Okay.
Take me back to the young Shawn French,
Oh, man.
when you were a kid. Tell me about it. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
Just give me a little bit about, because I want to find out what gets people to where they are now, right? The story.
Absolutely.
So take me back, man.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in the Bay Area in California. So specifically born in Walnut Creek, grew up in Concord, California, right? East Bay.
Yeah.
Right? So about 45 minutes east of San Francisco. And I grew up, my mom and my biological father divorced, I think, when I was 2. So I didn't have a father figure until I was 8 or 9.
Okay.
And my mom married, I don't call him my stepdad. He's my dad. That's all I know. When I was about 9. But I didn't have anybody. And then I would, be at my grandma's all the time, and I'd be with my mom. And so I would watch my uncle. Like my uncle was my father.
Yeah.
That was my guy. Still, adore my Uncle Brian. Like he's my guy.
Shout out to Uncle Brian.
Dude, amazing.
Is he in California still?
He's in Cali. Yeah. He's up in, what is that place called? God, I can't remember.
Going back to Cali.
Dude,
Cali.
we were there in July. Where did he move to? Placerville.
Okay.
The original gold rush town. Beautiful home, like on 3 acres.
Yeah.
They have 2 horses and it's crazy. Probably a few rattlesnakes too, which, not really fond of. But anyhow, so I would go, my grandma and my mom would always take me to baseball games. So my uncle played, in high school and then junior college. Then he played at Sacramento State University, and then he signed free agent to the Montreal Expos. But in addition to that, my cousin played at Sacramento State with my uncle, and then my other cousin played at a Division I college in Moraga, California called St. Mary's. So I was always at a baseball field.
Sure.
It was like
what age is that right there?
Dude, from the time I can't remember, dude.
7, 8, 9, 10?
Maybe a little bit earlier, yeah. But
to bring the glove to the baseball field?
Oh, yeah. But I remember I had such bad allergies, my eyes would like go red and like it'd swell shut, and my mom and my grandma would have to pick me up and take me home, and I would kick and scream. I just would rather be in more excruciating pain than leave a baseball field. But I saw them do it, and I saw them be successful. And so it turned me into something like, obviously, well, I'm just going to go play baseball.
That's right.
And I did that. And it's really weird because because of, early on not having a father around, I think I always lacked confidence.
Sure.
And so I was always seeking out that external validation. I didn't feel like I really fit in. I was heavier.
No one told you besides your uncle and maybe your
and then when my dad came into my life, which who I love, and we have a good relationship. It hasn't been without struggles. Like, we just started talking again, but I've been very open about that.
Now, would that be your dad?
Yeah, not my biological father.
Okay.
No.
So
that's my dad.
Okay.
Rob French is my dad.
Yeah.
Like 1,000%. But I grew up and I was always trying to kind of find myself, right? I didn't really feel like I was accepted for me. And so that was hard. But as I grew up, I got really good at baseball, and that kind of turned the corner for me. Like, that was the acceptance. I could throw
what age roughly did you realize I got a pretty good arm? Shawn,
it wasn't until high school, man.
Okay.
It wasn't until freshman year in high school. And then I was able to go to tryouts and then measure myself against juniors and seniors. I'm like, either they're really behind or I'm ahead.
That's right.
Now,
was that here?
No,
that
was
there.
in California.
That was there still. Okay.
I didn't come here until after I graduated at LSU.
So high school baseball, you get on the field, all of a sudden, hey, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
I'm hitting the
Shawn
2-hole
French.
on varsity. I'm the DH.
Nice.
And I was bored. I asked to go down to junior varsity so I could catch. I was like, I don't want to do this. So I went down, So anyway, did all that, right? Ended up playing all through junior college, got a partial athletic scholarship to Louisiana State University the year after they won it. Won the national championship. And dude, like, that journey there, I think from 2000 to 2007 were probably the years where I was the biggest piece of shit you've ever met. Like, it didn't matter if,
And that's after college.
That was like, even in college.
Yeah.
While I was in college, I wasn't doing dumb things to hurt people.
Sure.
But I was just super insecure. Right.
Just a jerk.
And not a jerk, but just like victim.
Yeah.
Like, coach doesn't like me. I'm never going to play. This is bullshit. I'm complaining when I don't see my name up on the lineup card. Like, that kind of teammate.
Sure. It's almost like, I guess it is what it is. It's
here we go again. This is bullshit, right?
Nothing but bad luck.
Went 3 for 4 yesterday, but fuck me.
Yeah.
Here I am again sitting next to you.
The victim,
yeah. Right? And not realizing maybe my actions at practice or how I'm interacting in the classroom or not performing in the classroom was impacting my on the field experiences, right? So shortly after that, 2003, we get to the College World Series and we 2-1 barbecue. We lose 2 games in a row. That moment in right field after the game was the scariest moment of my life, because I knew who Shawn French, the baseball player, was. I had no clue who I was.
Yeah.
Like,
that was it, right?
That was it.
That was the last time on the field.
I didn't know me, right? So from that point on, a lot of drinking when I went back to California, a lot of womanizing, a lot of, me just taking whatever I can get, right? Like, it didn't matter if she had a boyfriend. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I need to fulfill this big ass void that is just amassed inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help it. This is how I was filling, my confidence. Like, yeah, I could get that. And it burned a lot of friendships, man.
I'm sure it did.
I don't have any of the friends that I had back in California, with the exception of a couple that I keep in touch with. Like, I talked to my boy Matt Mazzei a little bit, but we're still cool. And dude, like, right around 2007 was when the mortgage meltdown happened.
Yeah.
I lost everything. I had to come back here. I had to start all over again. So I became a teacher, right? Because I wanted to just get back in baseball because I could hide there. It's the only thing I knew.
The mortgage meltdown. Did you get in? Did you get into the equity, buy properties, try to?
No,
flip?
I had one house, but
Okay.
I was actually a mortgage broker, right? So I did loans, so I was overextended, and my pipeline dried up overnight. Walked in, Countrywide's out, WAMU's out,
that's right.
World Savings is out,
Yeah.
and you're like, in California, you needed those programs because the property values were so big. So anyway, long story long, I come back to Florida, just because my family had moved here. I want to be clear. They moved here when I was...
Who moved here?
My mom, my dad,
Okay.
and my sister moved here
Okay.
when it was my last year in college. And so came here, got back on my feet, and then eventually got into sales, right? I had my first child. Like, I can't do this anymore. There's no money.
And your oldest one is?
He's 11.
Okay.
So I have an
That's
11-year-old son.
pretty much Jake's age, my son.
Yeah, 11-year-old son, 8-year-old daughter, 6-year-old daughter now.
Have to get him in the same league, baseball stuff.
South Fort Myers Little League, man. Let's do
Yeah.
that, man.
Indiana Springs Little League.
Oh, I'm not going down there.
Sean, back up to the mortgage and the crisis
Yeah.
of 07,
Yeah.
right? So I had my mortgage license in about 02, 03.
Mm.
And I thought, I'll sell real estate and maybe do mortgages for
Yeah.
the same clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my first loan, mortgage test is a little easier than a real estate test, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So my first loan, they give me like 15 things I need to get, right? Credit check,
Mm-hmm.
verification of employment, the tax return, the whole nine
VODs,
yards,
all
right?
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And I look at this list and I go, you guys don't have anybody that can do this? I got to do all this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, you get all of it.
That's
You get your
just a
loan
little,
processor.
yeah.
Then they
I wish I'd have known that before I went through
Yeah.
the process.
send it to underwriting after that. And they
I'm
go.
thinking, I'll just hand them over and you guys close them.
Yeah. And so long story long is basically in those years, right, of losing so much, friendships, my house, my car, just struggling. I realized that there was something inside of me that I wasn't letting out. And there was a better person there, and I needed to find him.
Yeah.
Right? I needed to find who I truly was without all the stuff, without baseball, without mortgages, without anything.
Sure.
And what I found is like, I'm someone that wants to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so now the mission is help lives, help people change their lives just by expressing what I'm going through
Sure.
or my guests. So I guess I don't know if that answers your question, but
It does, yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
how the evolution was.
But it's amazing though when you go back through all the struggles. I know you, and I know
Yeah.
you wouldn't have taken that back for the world.
No.
The struggles, the
No.
grind made you who you are today.
Absolutely.
Would there be a determined society without that grind?
There wouldn't.
In 07?
There wouldn't.
No.
Because I was too comfortable, man.
Yeah.
I was too comfortable. Like, I was really forced. God put me through some things, and of course I contributed to it. But there's like, hey, here's your test, man. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, how are you going to grow through this? Right. And so I don't regret losing those friends.
Yeah.
I did for a long time. Now I don't care. I just literally don't care. Right. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Reason, season, or lifetime, man. And it was a season.
But if it ever
Right.
came back around, you would
I would
want that for, you
I would talk
whatever
to them.
you
Yeah,
can.
like whatever,
yeah,
man. They don't.
yeah.
I don't know them now. They don't know me now. Like, they think they know me, but they don't. I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, you're right. I don't regret any of it because I would not be the husband I am today. I would not be the father. I would not be the show host
Yeah.
or whatever it is I am, man. I just wouldn't be that guy.
Sean, if you go back through time, there's a lot of things, man, I did
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I bet.
My whole life. Up until, God, high school, they ask you what you want to be for, what you want for a career, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm too young to know. I didn't even know what to even say.
Yeah.
So they said, what do you want to be? I said, I don't know, car sales. And they were like, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got a couple and oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You have no idea.
You don't know?
No idea. But I was good at baseball.
Yeah. For me, it was always that.
So I actually, when I was younger, you brought up martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that for a while, actually for about 25 years.
Do you still practice?
No.
No. Why
But
not?
I still got it though.
You still got
It's
it.
like a light switch.
I bet,
When
dude.
it's there.
I bet.
Now that Joey's 14, I can practice a little bit on
That's
it.
cool.
I can grab him and try
Yeah,
different
kick
things.
him a little bit.
Yeah,
beat the
why
shit out of
stand
him.
up and wrestle with you when I could just
Yeah, I can just
tug you down and
done.
double leg take you
Yep.
real quick
See
and
ya,
get on top.
chokehold. Bye-bye.
But I was in a skateboard and I played baseball. But then when I was younger, I was pretty good at baseball, but I didn't know the rules. First time I got up to bat, I hit a home run when I was a kid. Open field, it just went over everybody's head and it kept going.
That's badass.
And I didn't even touch the bases
Yeah.
because I didn't know the rules. I didn't even know. I just
That's
ran.
great.
I just ran. Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah. At least you didn't run the wrong way.
I didn't. Yeah. Well,
Maybe you did.
or like in baseball today, when they're younger, the kids, they run to the mound. You ever
Yeah.
see that when they're like on
Yeah.
T-ball? Batter runs to the mound. They
Charging
all
the
run up
pitcher.
there. They try to grab the ball.
Beat up the
hilarious.
coach.
It's cute for sure. But baseball, then I realized that I was pretty good. And I stopped. I was in a skateboard for a couple of years, and I got back into baseball. And then I went to college, and I got cut from baseball. Never forget. Freshman year, I was excited. Went to Edison.
Yeah.
Coach Cedarburg.
Remember
cut
you?
Cedarburg? Yeah, yeah.
Cedarburg, man.
He said, hey, I want to meet with you. So he says, I'm going to let you go. He says, but if everybody could have your attitude, I'd have the best team ever, which that was a compliment. Sure. I left there. I cried. That was my dreams.
Yeah.
Shawn, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, after that, I was lost. Right? Go up to Santa Fe, got cut there.
Yeah.
Worked at the mall, or I worked at Burdines.
Burdines. What is that, like a department store?
Macy's.
Oh, nice.
Hung out in downtown Fort Myers.
Boom.
We did a lot of stupid things.
Stupid stuff, dude. Yeah.
Again, that's who made me what I am today.
Exactly.
I appreciate the grind.
Exactly.
But it's funny because today I was talking to my son Joey, and I said, I know what's going on there. And he laughs. I said,
old is he?
Buddy, he's 14.
Okay.
He says, he laughed. I said, hey, we weren't born yesterday. That was my dad's famous quote. I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah.
Dad's always smarter than you are.
Exactly.
For sure.
I like the one. I wasn't. It may not have been born last. I mean, what was it? It's like I was born at night, but not last night.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, so sales. You went into sales.
Yeah.
So what sales job are you in?
So I went into payroll sales.
Okay.
So you know Danny Tuffarello, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Paychecks.
So Dan Tuffarello was my boss, and he passed on me the first time around in 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
And we linked back up through. He got to know me better, through the baseball circuit and things like that.
Yeah, because he was at
me.
Barreau.
Yeah, and he saw me, right? The dad.
Yeah.
Right. And
Danny's a great
he's
family,
awesome.
by the way.
Dude, amazing family, bro.
Hey,
incredible.
Hey, buddy, it's Dan. Hey, it's Dan.
Hey.
Dan's got a cool voice,
I love
man.
them, dude. I love them.
Yeah.
So he hired me, and that's when I was teaching and transitioning out of coaching. I was like, how much money? We met at a Panera on 41 in Fort Myers. I said, Dan, can you break out the compensation plan for me on this? He pulls out like a napkin or a business card. I can't remember what it was. He's like, here's your base. I'm like, okay, what's my base? He goes like 43 or 48. I'm like, that much? I'm like, dude, I'm in. He's like, hold on. And then you have like revenue targets where it's 10%, 12%, 16%.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, are you telling me I can make $50,000? He goes, Shawn, if you're my worst sales rep, you will make 72. I go, I'm in. Let's do this thing.
Let's go.
I'll suck and make 72 G's. So funny. After 3 months of trying to sell payroll, I was garbage. I was so bad, Joe. So bad. I'm taking there, with a pamphlet, like, this is what this is, and this is what it means to you.
That's right.
And I'm doing the best I can. Until one day I go in there. Actually, no, let me back up. I'm in Marco Island. It's raining. I'm in my Ford F-150 at the time. Paralyzed, can't get out of the vehicle. Pulled over in the Publix parking lot, in tears, crying. I'm done. I quit. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm quitting. I'm going back to coaching because that's the only thing I'm good at. That's what I'm going to do. And so I go in there, go to the office that day, come back early, and he's like, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, can I talk to you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, man, I think I'm done, man. I fucking suck at this. I'm having anxiety attacks in my vehicle, and I'm like crying in a parking lot, and I just can't do this. He goes, look, buddy, when you came on board, I told you I was going to give you a year because you can do this. And you're going to give me your commitment for a year. And he goes, but by the way, if you do want to quit today, what are you going to tell your son in 3 years?
Wow.
I was like, dude, I just can't, I'm not good at this. He goes, hang tight, just hang tight. So I'd say maybe a day or two later, I get this call and it's from Dan. He goes, hey, Taylor just resigned and Cape Coral's open. You live in Cape Coral. Do you want Cape Coral? I go, give it to me. Because I was going North Fort Myers, Lehigh, Marco.
All over the place.
Dude, like it was just, he carved the territory
all the hours of taking travel time were getting you to think about how much you didn't want to be there. Get me in the office and maybe I can forget about how bad I hate this job.
Right? Maybe I can forget how bad I suck if I'm just in my territory from jump, right? So, but he carved that out, and I'm grateful for the start of where I was because he carved that out for me. He took those areas away from people so I could come on board. I was an overhire. Okay. And so the moment I got Cape Coral, then CPA called me that day. Hey, I got a referral for you. I'm like, oh, this is great. That month, I did the best I ever did. I did like 10 payroll deals for $20,000 in revenue.
Wow.
And like people are like, you crushed it. I'm like, wow. Like
maybe I'm good at something.
Then the next month I did 11 for 26,000. Nice. Then in December I did 36,000. January I did 72,000. February lower. I remember this because this is when my life turned around, right? 14,000 in revenue. And then in March, 56, April, 60 something. And I made conference that year, which is a performance trip.
Okay.
Brand new guy.
What year is this?
This was 2014, 2015, like right around there, circa that.
Yeah.
And I ended up being a top 10% of the company. I made $100,000 that year, $107,000. I was like, wow, like this is wild. And I did all that production in the back half of the year. I'm like, dude, I got this. But the thing that changed for me is I got super intentional, right? I was also super intentional about just being who I am. So when I go in and talk to somebody, like if I went into your real estate office, hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm Shawn French. I work with Paychecks. Who's handling your payroll? Love to help you.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about the people. That's, again,
and
hence
so
the show.
It just built, man. It just built. And I ended up, when I left Paychecks, I was top 22 in the country.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
So that was when you left in what year?
Oh, man, this is a good one. So I left February 14th, 2020.
Okay.
Went into the medical industry, right? I was doing my home assignment, right? Doing all the modules. Then I was going to go to training in Colorado for a company called ConMed. And I loved that job. And we get to training, send us home, COVID. NBA shuts down. March Madness is done. So everybody's freaking out. My wife calls me, you better get on a plane. Like, you could die out there. I'm like, hold on. Like, so I went into the sales, medical sales, right when COVID happened. I couldn't get in an operating room.
Your youngest was 2.
Yeah. I'm sitting there and I had a guarantee of 6 months. Thank you.
That's stress. That's stress though, man. Kids.
But I wasn't able to get into the operating room and learn the craft. So I had to figure out how to generate revenue from home. And I did that. I realized that there were service maintenance plans on every one of the capital machines. So I called every hospital in my territory. Hey, how many air seals do you have there? Well, we have 3. Okay, great. Sorry, I'm new. I'm just trying. Can you send me the serial numbers, please? So I'd take the serial numbers and I just want to make sure you have the up-to-date software. So then I would send them to corporate. Hey, is there any service plans on these? No, there's not. And so then I would call, like, hey, you have the most up-to-date software. You're good here. But hey, you had 3 maintenance plans on your machines, 4-year maintenance plans that ran out. Do you want to re-up? They're like, oh my God. Dude, they were 11,000 a piece.
Yeah, we had no idea.
They had no idea. So like I would start banging those things out.
What a great niche right there.
So I did that. But the thing is I had to figure it out. And that is truly where I feel like I started thinking outside the box. And then the next year I sold almost $500,000 in capital equipment.
Man,
yeah,
that's amazing. So when you're younger, you have a number in mind, right? If I made this much money, if I made 30, if I made 40, I remember at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, I think I made 31.
All badasses start there, dude.
31, yeah. But I felt good. I felt good about it. And one day, my dad would say, get into real estate one day. I did. But I think one day I kind of figured how many hours I put in for what I made. And I didn't make that much.
Like $2 an hour.
Because you're doing it, you're working so much, right?
Yeah.
But you just go through that grind and all those different careers. It's almost like they're just little pieces of you. Yeah. But you say, when I made 30, if I make 50,
you're set.
I'm good.
And
then you don't feel any different.
No, you don't.
And then you made $107,000 that year, right?
And then I think my last year at Paychecks, I made 180 something.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I got to get to 200.
When you made 100, there was no explosion. You didn't feel any different.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Same thing with 1 million downloads.
More money, more problems, right?
Same thing with 1 million downloads.
Yeah.
There's no confetti.
Wow. 1 million downloads.
Yeah, cool.
The only thing now is for you is 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the hardest part now.
My journey is getting to 1 million a month.
Yeah.
Like in the game that we're in now, it's impressions, right? So that's when how many people hear the ads. Like, I need to get those to 1 million a month.
It's a grind though, man. It really is.
It's fun.
I look,
dude.
it is so much fun.
It's a blast.
And
bro.
everybody, I guess getting on video isn't easy for people to do.
No,
I guess
it's not.
And at first, who doesn't, think they look, who thinks they look good on video at first, right?
I never do.
I mean, my videos, my camera, the stuff I do.
Yeah.
I guess apparently people say I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, you do really well.
But when I look at the videos, how many I got to post to get one right?
Mm-hmm.
My phone, I got, I got to put a heart on the ones I like because there are so many that go wrong.
That suck.
Yeah.
I mean, God Almighty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ones that just don't make it onto the platform. But it's crazy, and I feel like it all boils down to one thing. Like, to your point, it was like people are telling you do a great job because you're being yourself. It's like, where we get into trouble in the life, business, relationships, doesn't matter, is when you stop being yourself, when you're trying to be something different, because that's out of alignment, man. Like, you can never operate well there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So,
Shawn, we left off at COVID. I remember you told me a good story about COVID. Brings you back to a weird place in your mind, right?
Yeah.
COVID, kids.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
The room. Tell me that story again. I know the audience wants to hear this one.
My wife was about to hang me up by my toenails, bro. So my oldest was in kindergarten. Then my middle daughter was, I think, in VPK at that point. And then Mia was like 6 months old, something crazy. Yeah, 6 months old. So everybody's relegated to the house. You can't leave.
Stuck.
You're stuck. Nothing's open. Can't go to work.
Homeschool.
Distance learning, bro. A kindergartner on a dang, laptop learning through modules. It was wild. So for some reason, we all convened up in our loft area. I think this is the story that you're talking about. I forgot we talked about this. But we ended up there, and we never left there. Like, to this day, I hate going upstairs. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
I love my home, but I like to be on the downstairs part of my home.
Sure.
And there was many points I'm like, we got to sell this place. Babe, we got to sell this place. I can't do this anymore. And we almost did. I'm glad we didn't, right? Because I don't think it would have been smart. But yeah, there's a lot of like, I use this word loosely in this sense, like trauma,
From that. Right?
From that. But this is the greatest part about it, as my voice cracks on here like I'm 14 going through puberty, is now my wife has some function on her phone where it connects to our smart TV, and these photos come up. Excuse me. And every now and again, photos will come up of those moments that I thought were so bad, that were just destroying me.
Yeah.
And tears come to my eyes because I'm watching my children play with each other.
Yeah.
Dance.
One of the best moments of your whole life.
The best moments, man. The absolute best. So my message to the audience is, whatever they're going through right now, however much it hurts, however the journey with your kids are, and if you feel like you're losing and it's just tough, in 2 years, you're going to look back at it and you're going to be like, you know what? That was the best time.
Yeah. It's a sad time because I think that upstairs room in your house, that loft, brings back just memories of the past, right?
Yeah.
And you want them back so bad, but you can't. It's
You
like
can't have those
when
moments
I
back.
watch old videos of the kids, sometimes it's hard to because you could cry because it's like your kids, man, they've grown. I thought when they were 2, I'd never forget that face, that laugh, right?
Yeah.
Now they're 3 and you don't remember that laugh
No,
at 2.
dude.
You got pictures, you got memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's good to go back and just relive those, man. Face it, you know what I mean? Get in that loft.
Yeah. Get in the
Get
loft.
up,
You're right,
get in
man.
that loft, man. Put your feet up, deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's funny because I always make the joke of, that's the kids' play area, right? All the girls have all their American Doll stuff, their Barbie stuff. I'm like, this room should have been a man cave a long time ago. When is it? And I look at my wife and go, when is this going to be the football room?
Yeah.
She goes, when it's time. Let's let the kids, they won't be this little for long. I'm like, you're right. You're right. I mean, they're growing up so quickly. My
The
son's
past.
my
Past.
son's halfway done with his 5th grade year.
That's why you got to just be in every moment, right? Every day.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah. It's
Determined.
wild, man.
Society.
Determined society.
That's what it's all about. It's like you got to want to be there and work-life mix, Shawn.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, now you got the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive, right? I mean, you work, it shows left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Work-life balance, is it easier now because you can kind of work your own schedule, or is it still pretty tough for you to to sort of work through the day?
I'll tell you, bringing on partners has been a big thing for me, right? Pat, my buddy Pat Sickens, he's one of my partners, and he helps me tremendously. And then, you know, my team, my production team, I show up and record and I'm out.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think that's easier.
That is for sure.
Because before it was in my den.
You were doing everything yourself, right?
Like, kids, get upstairs.
Edits.
Yeah, edits, everything.
The whole 9 yards.
Kids, get upstairs.
The editing will take you forever, right?
Yeah, like I was paying $100 a week to edit that show.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know, $5,200 a month for everything, right? It's a lot of stuff, right? But the thing is it's allowed me to step away from certain things and have more of that word balance that I really do struggle with.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is, like, there's no real balance, right? Because you can't spend, there's 24 hours in a day. If I'm implying balance, I'm spending 8 hours with my kids, 8 hours at work, 8 hours on my show, right? But I think what we're really shooting for is presence.
Yeah. Being in the moment.
It's how you were talking about that. It's
Pause
helping me
time.
be more present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, work-life balance, it's always tough because a lot of times you're there, but you're not there. You're on your phone, and the technology is so crazy. I mean, like your kids in the loft, right? That's kind of their little hangout. I remember as kids, remember the wrestlers, the WWE guys, the rubber ones?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love those
G.I.
things.
Joe guys. You know, that was like the thing to do. And now it's tough being a parent because your kids got so much to do. iPads, phones, TVs, YouTube, the shows. It's like, guys, the other night I took them out to dinner. I said, no phones.
Oh, yeah.
Left them right in there.
Keep them in there.
Yeah.
Don't need them.
And we just
talked.
Yeah. It was great.
We're anti-electronics. We put our phone, me and my wife put our phone in a box at dinner time.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, when we were kids, man, we were outside playing football, riding bikes and shit. I wouldn't let my kids outside now. Like, people in my neighborhood drive around like assholes.
You're right.
You know,
it's scary.
It's scary. It's a gated community. Thinking of one guy in particular. I'm not going to say his name on air, but Jesus Christ, man. It's like, come on, Dale Earnhardt. There's like 70 kids that live on the street. So
just play, ride bikes. I remember as a kid, we grew up in Chicago, so it was like street after street after street, right? And I would ride my bike sometimes down to the park, which is far. I shouldn't have been there.
In Chicago?
But we did. We did. And it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. People were driving. As a matter of fact, CD players weren't even out yet.
Yeah.
People weren't fiddling with things.
No.
Had to drive cars, right? So no problem. And I remember my mom and dad would say, you went where? You have a bag of candy from Greco's, which is up on Torrance. You didn't go there on your bike, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Don't do it again, JP.
No. But man, that's some really good stories from back in the day, you know, for sure. You know, as far as like the switch, you know, at night, million thoughts going for you. Can you turn off the switch at night? Put your head
Not
up,
entirely.
Put your head on the pillow and
at night when I go to bed? I pass out, dude. I'm gone.
Without a million thoughts brewing.
I'm good.
Dude.
No matter what's going on, good or bad, dude.
Love it.
When I get tired, I'm gone. Like, I'm good.
You know, Shawn, I've had several podcasts so far. You're the first person to tell me that you can turn it off at night.
Yeah.
I can. It's tough.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying, though, I want to clarify. I'm not saying I don't think about shit up until I'm going to bed.
Yeah, for sure. On your phone, getting stuff done, right? But when you put your phone down, that's it.
I mean, the moment I'm doing better with it, the moment me and my wife start watching shows in bed, I put it on sleep.
Yeah.
And I put it here and set my alarm, and then I wake up at 4.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Shawn, what's next? Where do you go from here? Goals.
Yeah. To do more events.
Yeah.
You know, I got an event coming up January 16th through the 19th in Norfolk, Virginia, called Determine Your Destiny.
Okay.
I partnered up with Iron Valley Real Estate, Michael Little.
Okay.
Going up there, I'm doing a complete road show, doing 9 episodes.
Dude, that's great.
I'm doing 9 episodes, keynote conversation. I'm working with his sales team for 30 minutes. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
That might be your path right there.
We'll see, man.
In a book?
Yeah. I'll do another book.
You could write a few books.
Yeah, I'll do another book.
You could.
For sure.
Get on the road.
Yeah. And then in April, I'm doing an event up in Carlisle, Pennsylvania for Advanced Solution. I'm a keynote, and I'm actually sharing the stage with Rob Gronkowski.
Nice.
It'll be cool.
That's great.
So I want to do more of those, man. But the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to help shows start to monetize earlier and start to get their analytics up. So they're not sitting there pissing in the wind and thinking no one's listening. And they can realize, like, hey, there's a way to do this. Yeah. And there's a right way to do it too. So I want to build a society, man.
Enjoy the grind, man.
Yeah,
because
that's what we're doing.
listen, from here, this is being in the moment, enjoying what you have now is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when I first started real estate, I wanted so much,
Yeah.
but those moments were so simple, right?
Yep.
Your followers go to a couple million, and all of a sudden, it might be the work-life mix could change.
It could.
That's why it's all about mindset,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Determines society, brother.
That's it, man.
That's what it's all about.
That's it.
You know, get a book going and everything else.
Yeah, I need to do that.
But man, real pleasure, Shawn. Seriously, you know, there's always a couple questions I always ask people at the end of the show.
Oh,
Start doing that.
I'm excited.
Since it's a new year.
Yeah.
So, movies. Favorite movie? What's your favorite movie?
What genre?
Comedy.
Probably The Hangover.
Okay, good. I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, Wedding Crashers, old school.
Wedding
Could they
Crashers,
make
dude.
comedies like they used to?
No, they don't.
They're not even
'Cause
funny.
people get
anymore.
offended.
Yeah.
You couldn't make Wedding
It's such a
Crashers
touchy
now.
subject, you know?
You could not make that
No.
now.
Music. Favorite. Okay, let's start off with this. Rap.
No. Okay.
Give me like the top 2 rappers for you. I
Give
know
me
you
top
like
three.
rap. Top
Give me
3.
three.
Give me top 3.
Pac.
Okay.
Eminem. Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the first 2. Get rid of
Yeah.
take Kendrick
Yeah.
and put maybe
Who would you put there?
probably I would go Biggie, Pac. And,
I like Biggie. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Biggie, Pac, and kind of like Jay-Z, but I don't know if I want to say Jay-Z.
You can't say Jay-Z
right now.
You definitely can't say P. Diddy.
Man, yeah, it's tough. It's a
Dead
tough
alert.
one there. You know.
But, you know,
But how about like groups? If you looked at like different, say rock groups,
Dude,
like
Def Leppard.
90s.
Def Leppard.
Okay.
Def Leppard. But I also love boy bands. I'm just gonna say it. Like, hey, dude, I was an NSYNC guy.
Yeah,
I loved them.
I did too.
Still do.
I like NSYNC,
bump 'em,
Backstreet
bro.
Boys.
Yes, it's great.
Get on the old
98
carrier.
Degrees with Nick
Yeah.
Lachey.
Who doesn't like that?
Come
You gotta
on.
like it. You know what I realized is when I started to kind of like it a little bit, like you do. Your friends kind of like it too, but
Yeah.
they're afraid to admit
They're
it.
so
but then
scared.
once you admit it,
Yeah,
all of
it's
a
like, okay,
sudden,
it's cool
oh,
now.
well, I
It's-
kind of
yeah.
like them too. You know?
Yeah, the other I love country too.
Yeah.
I'm very eclectic, and my wife is Ecuadorian, so the Spanish music, dude.
Yeah.
I love Spanish music.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Favorite food?
pizza.
Okay,
Yeah,
I love pizza.
hands down, dog.
You got to find like cauliflower pizza now. You got to talk to Jeff.
No,
Talk to Jeff about
when I
that.
do pizza, I'm gonna
Friday.
do pizza.
You got a Friday night pizza.
I'm gonna do if it's Friday night, it's pizza night. It's
You're
gonna
good
be
with that.
pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. How about pet peeves? You know, I'm Italian, so pet peeves, things that bother you. You know, like that kind of tick you off, right? The guy driving down the street.
Yeah.
His kids.
Yeah,
that's a pet peeve.
That's idiotic.
Um,
I think my biggest pet peeve is when people reach out for information and they want you to help them. I mean, I'm not even talking about like business wise. I'm talking like friends
Yeah,
that are going through something and they continue to ask the question but not make any fucking move. Like,
procrastination.
It drives me crazy because it's like, are you just being an asshole, or
Yeah.
do you really want to get better? So when people don't take action, it drives me absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Man. It drives me bonkers.
A lot of procrastination. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, you don't know
man.
how long you're going to be here.
Yeah. The podcast. Let's just do it.
Do it.
Forget it.
That's why Nike was so great. Just do it.
You're right.
Phil Knight, baby.
Just do it, man.
go.
But Shawn, the message for today, right, is that when you're in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you're in the moment. You want to grow. We want to grow, right? But never forget about the process.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the finish line, there's no, hey, great, Shawn, man, you did a great job. It's all about the grind.
Yeah.
You know, the power of self, the mind, passing that information to your kids, making them stronger, becoming a leader. You know, leaders always have a hard time asking for help because they're a leader. They're afraid to ask for help. But it's good to talk to people.
Sure.
That's why the show is so damn good.
Love it, dude.
Because you can get stressed out with me and vice versa. When you leave these shows, it's like leaving church.
Exactly.
Feel good, man.
This is great.
Feel good.
It's great.
But it's all about the message, the impact. It's not about how many followers you have and how many likes you get. It's about how many people you affect.
Yeah.
Your worst ones get the best.
Yeah.
Get the best videos out there, right?
Yeah,
The worst, least likes are the best videos. But it's all about pushing through, man. Becoming positive, a leader.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, man.
Thank
I
you.
really do, brother. Thank you
bro.
for being here.
Dude, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
This is great here. Congratulations.
You're welcome, man.
Big fan.
Much more to
Absolutely,
come.
absolutely love you, man. So
Me and you could be like Run DMC, you know what I mean?
man.
Get the Joe
or
P.
Dumb and Dumber. you
Joe,
know?
yeah, Dumb and Dumber. Lloyd and Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Shawn, tell the audience a little bit about how they could reach you, things like that.
Yeah, I always love this question. At the Shawn French On Instagram, it's SHAWN. The Determined Society Instagram is at The Determined Society. But guys, the website, obviously, thedeterminedsociety.com. We have a YouTube, all those things. But if you come by way of this podcast, right, you're listening, send me a message. Like, I'm not one of those people that do not interact.
Yeah.
If you try to sell me crypto, I'm going to ignore you.
You responded right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or health insurance. You get all those text messages.
No, I don't get those.
Yeah,
no, I get a lot of.
I must have subscribed to something that.
I get a lot of your engagement's critically low. You need me to market your Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, delete.
That's
Or the podcast pitches via email. But like, just reach out. You know, I mean, I want to interact. I want to know what the audience wants to hear too.
That's right.
And it's something that I've actually, honestly, dude, I've put my email out there. It's Shawn.French@thedeterminedsociety.com, by the way, is if you want a certain guest on, I'm going to try to get him or her. If you want a certain topic, I'm going to try to either do a solo show on it or bring somebody in that can talk about it. Because I want to know what the audience wants.
That's the best.
And no one's taken me up on it. Well, a couple people.
They should.
They should.
They should.
They really should. Because I'd do it.
Well, I hope you guys like the show. Please subscribe. It's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, trying to grow. If you know people that want to be on the show, want to be a sponsor, let me know. Today was a fun day with the guy.
Blast, man. Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's just a blast, and it's great sitting here with you, man. So,
always a pleasure, man.
Thank you.